As a medical lab specialist, I must warn seniors to never store these 5 foods in the refrigerator. They increase the risk of cancer. There are so many elderly people who look healthy. They eat in moderation and have regular health checkups. Then, after just a few months, they are suddenly diagnosed with late-stage cancer, and no one understands why. No alcohol, no smoking, no staying up late, so what is the cause? Have you ever wondered if your refrigerator is silently incubating diseases for your entire family? I once witnessed a man in his 70s who went to the doctor just for a dull stomach ache. He was then diagnosed with advanced stomach cancer that had already spread. After a thorough investigation, the most frightening thing was not in his medication. It was in the 5 familiar foods he kept in his refrigerator every day. These foods seem harmless, but if stored incorrectly, they will produce toxins. These toxins can attack the liver, lungs, stomach, and feed cancer cells right inside your body. Right now, I will point out the 5 types of food you should absolutely not store in the refrigerator. That is, if you don't want your health to go downhill without you even knowing it. Dangerous food number 1, the hidden toxin in potatoes. Potatoes are a familiar food in American meals. Everyone has boiled them, mashed them, or made soup with them. And many people think that putting them in the refrigerator will keep them fresh longer and prevent them from spoiling. But few people know that just one sprouted potato, left in the fridge for too long, can become a source of cancer, neurological disorders, and acute poisoning. I once witnessed a heartbreaking case. An elderly woman, over 75, lived with her son and grandchild. The son went to work, the grandchild went to school, and she stayed home to cook. Every day, there was a potato soup or a dish with fried potatoes. She said she would buy 20 pounds of potatoes at a time and keep them in the fridge to use gradually for convenience. 6 months later, she was hospitalized in a comatose state. She had unstoppable diarrhea, her blood pressure dropped, and she was in a state of mental confusion. Test results showed her body was poisoned with solanine. This is an extremely toxic substance that forms in sprouted potatoes stored improperly at low temperatures. Solanine not only damages the liver and kidneys but also attacks the central nervous system. A person who is poisoned may experience vomiting, excruciating stomach pain, and trembling limbs, as if they've had a stroke. In the long term, it can cause cardiovascular disorders, muscle atrophy, and even lead to stomach or colon cancer. So, what was it that ultimately led to her decline? Was it cancer? No, it was the seemingly harmless habit of putting potatoes in the refrigerator and letting time breed toxins. Many seniors still have the habit of buying food to stock up for a week, or even a month. Then, when they see a potato has sprouted, they feel it's a waste to throw it away. They cut off the sprouted part, thinking the rest is safe to eat. But few know that solanine has already seeped deep into the entire potato. Even if you peel it away, you cannot avoid the risk. If this habit isn't changed, it's like sending an invitation for death to come knocking. Potatoes seem like a humble, simple food. But if used incorrectly, they can become a hidden pot of poison, silently killing you. This is especially true for the elderly, whose liver and kidney functions have weakened. Even a small amount of solanine is enough to cause nerve poisoning, heart arrhythmias, chronic headaches, and increase the risk of stroke. What's even scarier? Many people are keeping sprouted potatoes in their refrigerator's crisper drawer right now. They either don't know, or they know but don't care, thinking a few bites won't hurt. If you are doing the same thing, I just hope today is the last day. Please, throw away that sprouted potato from your fridge immediately. Don't hesitate because of waste, because nothing is more valuable than your life. What about you? Are you currently keeping potatoes in your refrigerator? Leave a comment to make a commitment to yourself. For example, I will never keep sprouted potatoes in the refrigerator again. Or, from now on, potatoes will be stored in a dry, airy place, not the fridge. I will read every single comment, and if I see you making a change, I believe your health will start to improve from small things like this. Dangerous food number 2, peeled garlic, a bacterial time bomb in your fridge. For seniors, garlic is a precious medicine in the kitchen. A small clove of garlic can help lower blood pressure, reduce cholesterol, and act as a natural antibacterial agent. But that very same clove of garlic, if peeled and then stored in the refrigerator, can become a breeding ground for extremely toxic bacteria. This can cause paralysis and digestive disorders, which is especially dangerous for the elderly. I still remember an elderly woman who lived in a suburb of Chicago. She was in her 70s, lived alone, and was meticulous about everything. She had a habit of peeling a whole jar of garlic. She would either soak it in oil or keep it dry and store it in the fridge for convenience. "It saves an old woman like me a lot of trouble at every meal," she said. But one time, after a meal that included garlic bread, she felt severe abdominal pain. Her eyes were hard to open, she had difficulty breathing, and she felt dizzy. Her family rushed her to the emergency room. The doctors diagnosed her with botulism poisoning. This comes from an extremely toxic bacterium that can form in peeled garlic stored in an anaerobic, or oxygen-free, environment like a refrigerator. What's alarming is that this bacterium is odorless, tasteless, and colorless. But its toxicity is tens of times greater than cyanide. Just a few micrograms can cause paralysis, respiratory failure, circulatory collapse, and death within hours if not detected in time. For the elderly, whose immune systems are already weak, just one contaminated meal can lead to a stroke, memory loss, or respiratory failure. Garlic, if left whole with its peel on in a dry, well-ventilated place, is a treasure for your health. But once it's peeled and left for a long time in a cold, damp, oxygen-deprived environment, it's like trapping a toxic microbe in a sealed bottle and waiting for it to explode. The seemingly simple habit of peeling garlic in advance is one of the most dangerous habits for modern seniors. They don't see the danger because everything looks clean and peaceful. But bacteria have no smell, and death also comes in silence. If you have a jar of peeled garlic in your fridge, please open it and check it right now. Perhaps a small action today will prevent a major crisis tomorrow. Please comment, "Peeled garlic, I will never put you in the fridge again." Dangerous food number 3, ripe tomatoes, the camouflaged carcinogen in your fridge. Tomatoes seem like the most wholesome and familiar fruit in every kitchen. Seniors often use them to make soup, juice, or mix into salads. On the outside, they are plump and red, a gift from nature. So why can a ripe tomato, when stored in the refrigerator, become a silent cause of cancer? The answer lies in the tomato's special molecular structure. When stored at a low temperature, below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, like in a refrigerator, the cell membranes of the tomato begin to break down. Its metabolic processes are disrupted. It is at this moment that chemical compounds like lycopene, which are normally beneficial, can be altered. This can encourage the formation of a group of toxins called nitrosamines. This is one of the compounds that the World Health Organization has classified as possibly causing stomach, esophageal, and colon cancer if accumulated in the body over a long period. I once consulted for an elderly woman in her 80s who lived with her children and grandchildren in a quiet neighborhood. She didn't eat much meat, didn't drink alcohol, and still went for a walk every morning. But recently, she had been experiencing frequent bloating, acid reflux, and insomnia. A checkup revealed signs of gastritis with severe damage to her stomach lining. Upon asking, I found out that every day she drank a glass of refrigerated tomato juice to detox and beautify her skin. She had believed in this for many years. We always believe that tomatoes are good, and that's not wrong. But the mistake here is the method of storage and use. Tomatoes should only be kept at room temperature in a well-ventilated area, not in the refrigerator. And especially, you should not eat them raw after they have been refrigerated for a long time. At that point, the initial mild tartness has transformed into a fermented state, silently producing toxins. This is especially dangerous for people with a history of stomach pain, acid reflux, high blood pressure, or for the elderly with a weakened digestive system. Don't let the plump, red tomato fool your sense of security. Sometimes, the sweetest thing is the one that kills you the most slowly. If you have ever stored ripe tomatoes in the fridge, please comment. I will take tomatoes out of the fridge immediately to protect my stomach and intestines. Dangerous food number 4, cooked mushrooms, the soft poison that kills after a meal. This may sound illogical, but it happens very often. We think that once food is cooked, it is completely safe. But in reality, there are some foods that, after being cooked, become dangerous toxins if stored in the refrigerator and then reheated. And mushrooms are one of them. Mushrooms are rich in nutrients, low in fat, and easy to digest. They are a favorite food for many older adults, especially those on a vegetarian diet. But mushrooms contain a high amount of plant-based protein and are extremely sensitive to temperature, especially after they have been cooked. If they are stored in the refrigerator for more than 12 to 24 hours and then reheated, mushrooms not only lose all their nutritional value but also produce compounds called nitrites. These are one of the precursors to cancer of the stomach, liver, and intestines. A sad story I can't forget happened to a relative of mine. He lived frugally and ate simple meals. One evening, he couldn't finish his portion of mixed stir-fried mushrooms, so he put it in the refrigerator. The next morning, he reheated it and ate it with plain porridge. By that afternoon, he started having severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, and felt dizzy. He thought it was mild food poisoning, but after 48 hours, he was hospitalized. His liver enzymes had skyrocketed, his blood pressure had dropped, and he was diagnosed with acute intestinal lining damage. The doctor suspected the cause was the plate of mushrooms from the day before. When nitrites enter the body, they combine with amino acids in the stomach to create nitrosamines. This is an extremely potent cancer-causing compound. What's more worrying is that for the elderly, with their weak digestive systems, poor liver and kidney filtration, and unstable blood pressure, even a small amount of accumulated nitrites can have serious consequences. This includes digestive disorders, dizziness, fatigue, an increased risk of stroke, and liver cell damage. Mushrooms, if eaten immediately after cooking, are a wonderful food. But mushrooms, if left overnight, become a soft poison that kills in silence. Just a moment of frugality, saving a leftover meal that seems harmless, can be exchanged for a heavy price on your health. If you have ever left leftover mushrooms in the fridge, please leave a comment. I will never eat mushrooms left overnight again. Dangerous food number 5, thawed meat and fish that are put back in the fridge, a silent assassin in your refrigerator. Among the countless cooking habits of older adults, thawing meat or fish and then putting it back in the fridge to use later is perhaps the most common. It sounds reasonable. Thaw it once to save time and make it convenient for the next meal. But in reality, this very habit is silently poisoning millions of family meals. It does so with cancer-causing chemicals that lead to liver degeneration and increase the risk of kidney failure in the elderly. Once, I visited a family in a rural town. The elderly woman of the house proudly showed me how she thaws a large batch of meat all at once. Then she divides it into small portions for the whole week. For each meal, she takes out a little to cook porridge for her grandchild or stir-fry for her husband. It sounded thoughtful and economical. But when I opened the refrigerator, I saw several plastic containers of meat and fish that had been thawed and then put back in the fridge. Some containers had even changed color, with meat juices pooling at the bottom. That was no longer food, it was a breeding ground for a toxic substance called heterocyclic amines, or HCAs. This is a group of compounds capable of destroying liver cells, causing DNA mutations, and triggering the formation of tumors in the body. What's dangerous is that the thawing process exposes the food's surface to bacteria. Then, if it's not cooked immediately but put back in the fridge, the bacteria don't die. They just go dormant. When you take it out to cook again, if the temperature isn't high enough or isn't even, the inside of the meat might not reach the temperature needed to kill the bacteria. The person eating it then unknowingly ingests a silent dose of poison. The elderly, who already have weaker immune systems and whose liver and kidneys function less efficiently, are even more vulnerable to these altered compounds. The consequences are not just digestive disorders, bloating, or liver pain. In the long term, it can cause cirrhosis, elevated liver enzymes, chronic insomnia, and even liver cancer. If meat or fish has been thawed, it should only be used once. Absolutely do not put it back in the refrigerator. That seemingly simple food item, if you repeat this mistake, will become a silent killer in your own kitchen. If you have ever thawed meat and then put it back in the fridge, please leave a comment. I will never refreeze meat or fish after it has been thawed. As you can see, just a few sprouted potatoes, a few peeled garlic cloves, or a plate of leftover mushrooms from the night before seem harmless. Yet, they hide the risk of leading to stroke, brain atrophy, liver failure, nervous system paralysis, and even cancer. These small mistakes in how we store food are the shortest path for illness to find its way to you. Starting today, I sincerely advise you, never put these types of food in the refrigerator again. Think of your refrigerator as a friend, but if you use it incorrectly, it will turn into the most dangerous traitor in your kitchen. If you find this video's warning reflects the reality you're facing, please hit the like button. Share it with your relatives, children, and grandchildren so the whole family can avoid these silent, unannounced disasters. So what about you? Of the 5 types of food I just mentioned, which one do you most often keep in the fridge? Leave a comment below. I will read and provide specific feedback for each case. And now, the most important part. What if your refrigerator didn't have to be a source of illness, but could become a medicine cabinet? A cabinet that helps prevent cancer, clear blood vessels, and protect your memory, heart, and liver. Would you want to know which 5 foods you should store correctly and eat regularly to live longer? Right now, I will share with you. Seniors who want to destroy cancer cells and prevent strokes should eat these 5 foods correctly and regularly. I believe if you apply this correctly, your refrigerator will not only preserve food but also preserve your lifespan. Food to eat number 1, broccoli, the natural shield protecting the body from cancer and stroke. In the world of vegetables, broccoli is like nature's silent doctor. It's small and humble, but powerful on the inside. Within each small, jade green floret is sulforaphane. This is a precious compound that can slow down cell mutation and inhibit the growth of cancer from its earliest stages. However, for broccoli to truly act as a biological guardian, the way you prepare and eat it is crucial. Instead of boiling it until it's mushy or stir-frying it with heavy spices as many people do, you should steam it lightly for 3 to 5 minutes. This is just enough to make the vegetable tender while retaining its fresh green color and natural crispness. A light, sweet flavor gently spreads on the tongue. Eating it not only soothes the intestines but also feels like you are nourishing your blood vessels with purity. The most ideal time to eat it is about 30 minutes after lunch or dinner. This is when the body has digested most of its energy and is ready to absorb nutrients from vegetables. You should include broccoli in your diet 3 to 4 times a week. Each time, about a small bowl of steamed broccoli is enough, without any fancy seasoning. If you maintain this regularly, after just a few weeks, you will feel a clear change. Your digestive system will feel lighter, your skin will look brighter, your sleep will be deeper, and your memory will be less foggy. Most importantly, your liver enzyme levels, blood fat, or blood pressure may gradually improve. Broccoli is not just a vegetable, it is a wordless medicine silently protecting your body every day. If you feel this food deserves a place at your family's table, please comment, I will eat steamed broccoli every week to prevent cancer and live healthier. And don't look away, because the next food is even more special. Food to eat number 2, blueberries, the purple gems that help cleanse blood vessels, protect the brain, and stop cancer progression. Among the countless natural fruits, Blueberries are considered one of the most precious purple gems that nature has given to human health, especially for the elderly. Inside each tiny berry are thousands of powerful antioxidants, especially anthocyanins and resveratrol. These are active compounds that scientists have proven can neutralize free radicals, slow down cellular oxidation, and hinder the growth of tumors in the body. Not only that, blueberries are also known as the gatekeepers of our blood vessels. They can clean the artery walls, prevent the formation of blood clots, support blood circulation, and reduce the risk of stroke, an issue that seniors always worry about. For people with a history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or memory decline, blueberries are a silent but highly effective companion. To fully absorb the benefits from this fruit, you should use fresh blueberries, washed right before eating. You shouldn't wash them in advance and store them in the fridge, as this can make the berries soft, watery, and reduce their nutritional value. You can eat them directly or mix them with unsweetened yogurt to add more probiotics for your gut. You should eat about 10 to 15 berries at a time, and maintain this 3 to 5 times a week. The taste of blueberries is a harmonious combination of mild tartness and gentle sweetness. Eating them feels like it awakens both your taste buds and your spirit. A slight zesty note at the end lingers on the tongue, as if leaving a trace of health, making you want to eat more. Not because you're craving it, but because you feel you are being cared for from the inside. Maintaining a regular intake of blueberries can help you improve memory, reduce cholesterol, stabilize blood pressure, and slow down the degeneration of brain cells. It's not just a fruit, it's a soft, purple wall protecting the heart and brain of the elderly every day. If you agree, please leave a comment. I will eat blueberries every week to nourish my brain, clean my blood vessels, and prevent cancer. Food to eat number 3, steamed mackerel, the natural oil that clears arteries, strengthens the heart, brightens the eyes, and fights cancer cells. It's not too expensive and not too hard to find. Mackerel has long been compared to a precious natural oil flowing through our blood vessels. Containing an exceptionally high amount of omega-3s, mackerel has the ability to soften blood vessel walls, reduce cholesterol plaque, stabilize heart rhythm, and provide anti-inflammatory benefits throughout the body. These are all key factors in preventing stroke, heart attack, and internal organ cancer in the elderly. Unlike red meat, mackerel does not put pressure on the liver and kidneys. On the contrary, it supports blood purification, regulates blood pressure, and nourishes brain nerve cells. For seniors who often experience dizziness, numbness in their limbs, or blurry vision, eating mackerel correctly is a gentle but effective natural supplement. To maximize its benefits, mackerel should be steamed or lightly braised with ginger. Avoid deep frying, as high heat can destroy omega-3s and alter the protein. You should consume about 4 to 5 ounces of fish per serving, 2 to 3 times a week. This is enough to maintain long-term effects. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a piece of steamed fish with ginger and scallions, lightly dipped in a low-sodium soy sauce, is enough to feel the rich, sweet flavor that melts in your mouth. This is combined with a feeling of lightness and comfort in your stomach after the meal. The most noticeable effects after a few weeks are a more regular heartbeat, less dry skin, a clearer mind, and less tired eyes. In addition, omega-3s also help inhibit the growth of breast, colorectal, and prostate cancer cells. This is especially important for older adults with a risk of underlying diseases. Mackerel is not just a dish, it is a source of pure nutrients, like a cool, fresh stream flowing silently through your bloodstream. It helps the body stay resilient and the mind sharp, well into old age. If you agree, please leave a comment. I will eat steamed mackerel every week to protect my heart, eyes, and blood vessels. Food to eat number 4, carrots, the orange broom that sweeps away disease, brightens eyes, detoxifies the liver, and helps prevent cancer. If there is one vegetable that is both cheap, easy to find, and contains the disease-fighting power of a natural supplement, then carrots are the most outstanding representative. Hidden inside that vibrant orange color is beta-carotene, a precious precursor to vitamin A. It has the ability to enhance vision, support liver detoxification, slow down cellular aging, and inhibit the growth of lung, liver, and skin cancer cells. Carrots are also known as the orange broom, because when it enters the body, it's like a diligent janitor, silently sweeping away free radicals, residue in the blood, and fat clinging to the liver. For older adults who often have dry eyes, dull skin, high cholesterol, or elevated liver enzymes, carrots are a safe and effective choice. However, to absorb the maximum nutrients from carrots, you shouldn't eat them raw or juice them too much, as this can cause indigestion and vitamin loss. The best way is to steam or lightly boil them for 3 to 4 minutes, or stir-fry them quickly with olive oil or peanut oil. This is because beta-carotene is fat-soluble, which helps it to be absorbed more effectively by the body. You should use about 1 small carrot, or about 3.5 ounces, per serving, and eat it 3 to 4 times a week. When prepared correctly, carrots are soft, slightly sweet, with a fresh, natural aroma. As you eat it, you feel a warm energy spreading throughout your body. Eating it regularly helps to brighten your eyes, freshen your skin, and lighten the load on your liver. Most importantly, your immune system becomes more stable. This reduces the risk of chronic age-related diseases like diabetes, atherosclerosis, and memory decline. Carrots are simple but wonderful. A familiar food can become a comprehensive tonic for the body of the elderly, if you know how to use it correctly and regularly. If you find this useful, please leave a comment. I will eat steamed carrots every week for bright eyes, a healthy liver, and cancer prevention. The 4 foods I just mentioned, if you know how to eat them correctly, prepare them gently, and use them regularly each week, your body will automatically cleanse its blood vessels. It will protect the liver, support memory, and silently destroy the seeds of cancer from deep within. You don't need expensive supplements, and you don't need a restrictive diet. Just what is available in nature is enough to live healthily, strongly, and longer. So, from today, I hope you will include broccoli, blueberries, mackerel, and carrots in your meals every week. Eat to live joyfully, eat to prevent disease, eat to preserve every peaceful heartbeat and breath. If you find these shares useful, don't forget to press the like button on the video and share it with your relatives and friends. This gives everyone a chance to protect their health from the ground up. And now I want to ask you something. Are we unintentionally destroying all those benefits just because of 5 mistaken habits we have every day when using the refrigerator, without even knowing it? Right now, I will reveal to you. Seniors, be careful of these 5 improper storage habits in the refrigerator. You are nurturing cancer, osteoporosis, and kidney failure without realizing it. A few small, seemingly harmless actions can silently shorten your lifespan every day. Keep watching to make sure you are not making these serious mistakes. Dangerous habit number 1. Putting washed vegetables directly into the fridge while still wet. A seedbed of disease from a seemingly harmless drop of water. In the daily routine of many families, especially for seniors who are frugal and meticulous, washing vegetables first, letting them drain, and then putting them straight into the fridge to use later is all too common. At first glance, this habit seems very reasonable. It's clean, convenient, and saves cooking time for the next day. However, few people know that the very droplets of water left on the vegetable leaves, stems, or sprigs are the starting point for a chain of silent biological reactions that are severely harmful to health. When wet vegetables are placed in a cold environment, the moisture condenses inside the bag or container. This creates favorable conditions for bacteria and mold to grow rapidly. These microorganisms produce compounds called mycotoxins. This is a group of toxic substances that has been studied to be capable of damaging liver cells, causing chronic intestinal inflammation, and increasing the risk of diseases like cirrhosis, osteoporosis, and even digestive tract cancer. For the elderly, whose liver and kidney functions slow down and whose digestive systems weaken over time, even a small amount of toxins from spoiled vegetables can cause symptoms. These include bloating, a dull ache in the liver area, prolonged digestive disorders, and unexplained fatigue. These symptoms are often overlooked and blamed on old age, until the disease has silently progressed to a chronic state. If you want to store vegetables in the fridge, you need to pat each stalk dry or let them drain completely. Wrap them in a dry paper towel, place them in a ventilated, sealed container, avoid keeping them for more than 3 days, and especially, never put wet vegetables in a plastic bag and stuff them straight into the crisper. If you have ever made this mistake, please leave a comment. From now on, I will not put wet vegetables in the refrigerator, to protect my liver and digestive system. Dangerous habit number 2, using plastic bags to wrap hot food and then immediately putting it in the fridge. A silent mistake that destroys internal organs. In many kitchens, especially those of older adults, using a plastic bag to wrap leftover food, hot soup, or freshly cooked rice and then putting it straight into the refrigerator happens every day. It's convenient, quick, and that's that. But few people know that this thoughtless packaging is the trigger for a chain of toxic chemical reactions that the elderly body pays for day by day. When hot food is wrapped in a plastic bag and then refrigerated, the high temperature causes molecules in the soft plastic to melt and gradually seep into the food. This is especially true for substances like bisphenol A, or BPA, and phthalates. These are compounds that many international studies have confirmed cause endocrine disruption. They damage the liver and kidneys, reduce the body's ability to detoxify, and contribute to promoting the formation of cancer cells. It doesn't stop there. Phthalates are also known as a silent enemy of memory and the cardiovascular system. They increase the risk of heart arrhythmias and hardening of the arteries, and cause the nervous system of the elderly to become sluggish, forgetful, and confused. Many seniors find themselves tired, with no appetite and sleeping fitfully. They think it's due to old age, but they don't realize it might stem from that familiar plastic-wrapped container of food every night. To ensure safety, you should use glass containers or specialized heat-resistant plastic containers. Let the food cool down completely before putting the lid on and placing it in the refrigerator. Don't, for a moment of convenience, unintentionally poison your own body every day. If you have ever done this, please leave a comment. I will not wrap hot food in plastic bags anymore, to protect my liver, kidneys, and heart. Dangerous habit number 3, piling lots of cooked food into sealed containers and leaving them too long in the fridge. A dormant bacterial nest silently attacking the elderly body. With a mindset of being frugal and afraid of waste, many seniors often cook a large pot of soup or a big batch of stewed meat. Then, they divide it into small containers to eat gradually over several days. Each container is tightly sealed and neatly arranged in the refrigerator. They think that doing this is clean and safe. But in reality, this is a way of silently creating a dormant bacterial nest right in their own kitchen. When cooked food is left for more than 2 or 3 days in a sealed, anaerobic environment, especially in thick plastic containers, bacteria like Clostridium or Listeria monocytogenes can multiply without any obvious strange smell. These bacteria not only cause diarrhea and bloating but also secrete toxins like nitrites. This is an intermediate substance that creates nitrosamines when it enters the body, one of the most dangerous carcinogenic compounds for the liver, stomach, and intestines. What's more concerning is that the elderly have a slower digestive system and their livers are less efficient at detoxification. So just eating a reheated dish from a container that has been stored for too long can lead to symptoms. These include persistent fatigue, bloating, digestive disorders, a dull ache in the upper right abdomen, or an unexplained rise in liver enzymes. Don't let your refrigerator become a drawer for breeding disease. No matter how delicious a dish is, it should only be stored for no more than 48 hours. If you use containers, choose ones with a vent hole or leave the lid slightly ajar so the food doesn't suffocate. And especially, cooking just enough for fresh meals every day is still the safest way. If you have ever stored cooked food for more than 2 days, please leave a comment. I will not leave cooked food in the refrigerator for too long anymore, to protect my liver and stomach. Dangerous habit number 4, reheating cold food that has been left in the fridge for a long time over and over again. A silent killer that weakens the digestive system and causes chronic insomnia. Many of us have a very common habit. Food in the refrigerator, even if it has been there for 3 or 4 days, is considered safe to eat again as long as it's reheated. Some dishes are reheated in the microwave, others are put in a pot and brought to a boil for a few minutes before eating. It sounds logical, but this repeated action, week after week, month after month, is pushing the digestive and nervous systems of the elderly to the brink of collapse. Food that has been left in the refrigerator for too long, even if it's cooked again, cannot restore its original nutritional value. On the contrary, the process of repeated reheating causes vitamins, enzymes, and proteins to change their structure. This creates inflammatory free radicals that are hidden in the body. This is especially true for dishes containing oil. When reheated over and over, the oil transforms and produces aldehydes. These are harmful substances linked to liver degeneration and central nervous system damage. Seniors who eat these dishes not only find them hard to digest and feel bloated or have a dull stomach ache, but they also tend to have trouble sleeping. They might toss and turn and wake up in the middle of the night. This is because the accumulated toxins make the liver work overtime during sleep, disrupting the sleep cycle. Furthermore, reheating old food also makes the dish lose its fresh taste, becoming bland and dry. This turns mealtime into a chore rather than a pleasure. To avoid this, you should only keep leftovers for no more than 24 to 36 hours. When reheating, ensure the temperature is high enough and stir well to heat it through to the core. And it's best to avoid reusing old fried or oily stir-fried dishes. If you have ever reheated a dish more than once, please leave a comment. I will quit the habit of eating repeatedly reheated food to sleep better and have a healthier digestion. Dangerous habit number 5, placing medicine next to food in the refrigerator. A fatal mistake that causes both food and medicine to spoil. Perhaps in many households, especially those with elderly members being treated for chronic illnesses, placing medicine next to food in the refrigerator is very common. On one side is a bag of vegetables or a container of meat. On the other is a blister pack of supplements, a bottle of probiotics, or even injection vials and eye drops. They all share the same small space. It seems harmless but hides a double danger: spoiled medicine and contaminated food. Many types of medicine, especially liquid solutions, probiotics, and multivitamins, are very sensitive to humidity and food odors. When placed near fresh foods like raw meat, fish, or vegetables, which have high moisture content, the medicine packaging can easily become damp and moldy. It can react with the cold environment, causing precipitation or loss of the active ingredient's effectiveness. Conversely, many medications contain fillers, preservatives, or outer coatings that can slightly evaporate at cold temperatures. This can contaminate nearby food, especially if placed next to an uncovered container of rice or soup. Over time, the food accumulates strange chemical content. This can cause endocrine disruption, weaken the immune system, damage the liver and kidneys, and even increase the risk of thyroid or stomach cancer if eaten continuously. Especially for the elderly who use medication every day, if the medicine spoils without them noticing, the treatment's effectiveness will decrease. Their condition won't improve, and their health will decline without knowing why. My advice for you is this: medicine needs its own separate, clean, dry, and sealed compartment. If it must be refrigerated, use a dedicated medicine container or place it in a completely sealed plastic box, far away from the food storage area. If you have ever placed medicine next to food in the refrigerator, please leave a comment. I will separate medicine from food in the refrigerator to protect my long-term health. These habits that seem small and convenient, like washing wet vegetables, wrapping hot food in plastic, reheating old dishes, or placing medicine next to food, are the invisible knives that cut away at our health every day without us knowing. And the scariest part is that when illness arrives, it's too late to look back. I don't want you to be afraid. I just hope that from today, every time you open the refrigerator, you will open it with awareness and understanding. Because just by avoiding these mistakes, your liver will be healthier, your memory will be better, your sleep will be deeper, and your heart will beat steadily with each peaceful rhythm. If you find this video truly helpful, please press the like button and share it with your friends and family to help everyone preserve their health and longevity. So, what about you? Which of these habits made you the most startled? Please comment below to let me know so I can offer more advice. And now, something more important awaits. If you want to know how to use your refrigerator to prevent cancer, stabilize blood pressure, and protect your liver, heart, and memory, then don't miss the next section. The topic is, seniors, apply these 3 golden rules when using the refrigerator to help prevent cancer, stabilize blood pressure, and protect your liver, heart, and memory. Just by adjusting 3 things correctly, your refrigerator will become a treasure chest for your golden years. Golden rule number 1. Create separate zones for raw, cooked, and vegetable foods in the fridge. This avoids cross-contamination, reduces toxins, protects the digestive system, and prevents cancer from the root. Many families today, especially seniors living alone or with busy children and grandchildren, have a habit of putting all food into the refrigerator randomly. Raw meat, fresh fish, green vegetables, leftover soup, all lie jumbled in the same compartment, on the same shelf. But this, put it wherever it fits, convenience is the root cause of bacterial growth, toxin spread, and the silent development of cancer risk without anyone noticing. Raw foods like meat and fish contain many bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, and Listeria. If not stored correctly, they can easily contaminate cooked food or vegetables, creating a phenomenon called cross-contamination. In that case, even if the food is cooked thoroughly, toxins can still remain. This can cause damage to the intestinal lining, digestive disorders, a weakened immune system, and in the long run, it can be a trigger for cancer cells. For the elderly, whose digestive systems have weakened over time and whose liver and kidneys work more slowly, eating cross-contaminated food can lead to prolonged fatigue. It can also cause bloating, constipation, absorption disorders, and difficulty sleeping at night because the liver has to work overtime. The solution is very simple. The bottom shelf is for raw food, which should be wrapped tightly, preferably in a container with a sealed lid. The middle shelf is for cooked food or milk and boiled eggs. The top shelf is for washed vegetables and fruits, wrapped in paper towels or placed in mesh bags. Absolutely do not let raw and cooked items touch each other, even in the freezer. Creating separate zones in the refrigerator is like building a protective barrier for your body. It helps prevent bacteria from entering from the very beginning. If you haven't done this before, please leave a comment. I will divide my refrigerator into separate zones to prevent disease and protect my gut. Golden rule number 2. Do not keep food for more than 3 days in the refrigerator. This maintains freshness, prevents toxin accumulation, and protects the liver, kidneys, and cardiovascular system of the elderly. Many of us share a common habit. We cook a lot, divide it into portions, and then put it in the refrigerator to use gradually throughout the week. We think it saves time and effort, but we don't realize that food stored for more than 3 days in a cold environment begins to decompose silently. Nutrition is lost bit by bit, and toxins begin to form quietly but persistently. Food, even if cooked, if left for too long, especially in a sealed container or plastic bag, creates conditions for anaerobic bacteria to multiply. They don't cause obvious spoilage, there's no smell, no taste, no color change. But they produce nitrites and other metabolic byproducts that can stimulate cancer cells, damage the liver, cause kidney inflammation, and lead to heart rhythm disorders in older adults. Quite a few seniors wonder, I ate the soup from Monday, and by Friday, my stomach started to feel bloated, I felt tired, I couldn't sleep well, and sometimes my blood pressure dropped for no reason. But in reality, that is the accumulated consequence of eating food that has been refrigerated for too long. The solution is very simple but effective. Only cook enough for 1 to 2 days, or divide into small portions and label them with the date to control the storage time. For any dish that has been stored for over 72 hours, even if it hasn't spoiled, you should throw it away. Don't be wasteful. Your health is more precious than a container of food. Foods rich in oil, eggs, mushrooms, or fish should be consumed within 1 to 2 days because they are more prone to producing toxins than other groups. The refrigerator is a place to keep food, not a drawer to accumulate toxins. The longer you keep it, the more likely it is to cause illness. If you have ever kept food in the refrigerator for more than 3 days, please leave a comment. I will not keep food for more than 3 days in the refrigerator, to give my liver and kidneys a rest. Golden rule number 3, clean the refrigerator regularly every week. Eliminate bacterial breeding grounds, prevent toxic mold, protect your intestines, and extend your own lifespan. A clean refrigerator means clean food. However, many of us have a habit of letting the refrigerator run for a whole month, or even several months, without cleaning or checking it. Day after day, drips of condensed water, bits of spilled food, and strange smells from open containers all accumulate. They form a breeding ground for bacteria that the naked eye cannot see. Studies show that in a refrigerator that is not cleaned properly, the density of bacteria can be hundreds of times higher than on a kitchen counter. Bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, and molds like Aspergillus can easily multiply. This is especially true in the rubber seals of the door, the ice maker, and the cracks of the food trays. These invisible enemies can cling to vegetables, seep through eggshells, or creep into uncovered food containers, silently entering the body every day. The elderly, with their sensitive digestive systems and weakened immunity, are very susceptible to diarrhea, bloating, digestive disorders, and even intestinal fungal infections just from eating food stored in a dirty refrigerator. That feeling of fatigue, weakness, and insomnia with no clear cause might just start from that small patch of mold in the vegetable drawer. Cleaning the refrigerator is not difficult. You only need to spend 15 to 20 minutes each week. Unplug the refrigerator, take all the food out, and use warm water mixed with vinegar or lemon to wipe all the shelves, seals, and the door. Immediately discard any expired food, wilted vegetables, or old leftovers. Don't forget to wipe it dry before plugging it back in to prevent moisture from causing mold to return. Keeping the refrigerator clean is not just about protecting your food. It's how you protect your own lifespan. A little bit every day, consistently and sustainably. If you have forgotten to clean your refrigerator for too long, please leave a comment. I will clean my refrigerator every week to prevent illness and live healthier. As you can see, the refrigerator, a place that seems like the safest in the kitchen, can become a silent source of disease if we don't know how to use and care for it properly. With just 3 very simple principles, dividing into separate zones, not keeping food for more than 3 days, and cleaning the refrigerator every week, you can proactively create a clean and healthy space for your whole family. These small but regular actions help the liver detoxify better, allow the kidneys to rest properly, keep blood vessels clear, and stabilize blood pressure. Most importantly, they prevent the risks of cancer, memory loss, or heart failure in the elderly. You don't need supplements, you don't need to change too much. You just need to start with the refrigerator in your home. If you find these shares helpful, please press the like button on the video and share it with your relatives, friends, children, and grandchildren. Let everyone know how to preserve their health from the smallest things. And if you are ready to take action, please leave a comment below. I commit to keeping my refrigerator clean, properly zoned, and not keeping food for more than 3 days. I look forward to reading those commitments because they are the sign of a happy and healthy life, starting today. Goodbye and see you in the channel's next video.